Okay then, so let's turn our attention to the NPL Premier Division and a look at Matlock Town Football Club in what's been a very interesting last few days for the Gladiators. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by the Matlock Town gaffer, Martin Carruthers. Martin, how are you today?
Very well, thank you. Good morning.
Great to have you back on the show and for your insight into what's happening with the Gladiators. So, as I said before, really interesting last few days. I hope you didn't miss that first goal against Stafford Rangers last weekend. I think it was clocked in at 9.33 seconds, which since the Matlock's statistics began, that is the quickest one ever recorded. Just in general, how impressed were you with the performance away at Stafford in that 2-0 victory?
It was an outstanding defensive performance, not only in resilience but character. You know, we had some mishaps before the game. Obviously, we lost Ryan Qualter before the game for injury. James, the S&C coach, he had a crash on the way in, so myself and Wayne had to go out and pick some kit up. So the preparation was not ideal. The lads are very professional. We had Soldini making his debut. We had Tyrone Kadu making his debut. We changed the shape and the formation. And, you know, we knew it was going to be a really tough game. We watched the highlights of the Gainsborough game the week before, and obviously Stafford went 3-0 up. And Gainsborough come back and won the game 4-3. So we knew there was opportunity to score goals, but we knew, you know, we had to be on point defensively because of their threat, you know, attacking wise. Certainly with the lad Kiwamia on the right, his pace was blistering, and Tonks with a long throw, which we knew would cause us problems. But, you know, we spoke before the game, you know, in relation to, you know, the Belper game, how we started so well on the front foot. We didn't do that at Gainsborough or Morpeth. You know, we sort of sat back. So we said, let's get off to a good start. And Demi was unbelievable. You know, straight from the kickoff, it wasn't a great touch from their centre half, but he pressed it, won the ball, and fired in from, you know, 25 yards, an unbelievable strike. And we were just like, wow, what a start. And then, you know, to go 2-0 up after 7 minutes, great work by, you know, Xander down the left, great ball and a great finish from JJ to put us 2-0 up. And, you know, I thought we were really good value, you know, first half. Obviously, the injury to Demi had an impact on us. And, you know, we said at half time, we said, look, you know, we're going to be against the wind, stay in the game the first 15, 20 minutes. It's going to be difficult. And to be honest, they were by far the better side the second half. But what pleased me was the defenders putting bodies on the line, you know, the character, the resilience, you know, them conceding a penalty, saving it. And, you know, it was just unbelievable. And if you can defend like that and go away and keep clean sheets, then, you know, it's going to set us up nicely for the future.
Yeah, fantastic. And now, well, as you mentioned before, obviously going into that game, it was far from ideal preparations, and I know injuries are playing a big part in that. What updates can you give Gladiators fans at the moment on sort of like the injury status? Because I know, as you said before, Ryan Qualter was not available for the last game. I know Carl Demid got injured in that most recent game. What is the latest that you can tell us?
Yeah, I mean, Soldini, Qualts and Demi. Demi definitely would not have played against South Shields if that game was on. Qualts and Sol would have been 50-50. We trained on Wednesday. Demi's still 50-50. Soldini 70-30. Qualts 70-30 for Geisley tomorrow if it's on. Jordan Barnett suspended. Obviously Brad Abbott broken leg. So yeah, it's been patched up United and you know, when we've had such a good result like that, you know, we want the games on, we want that momentum to keep building. So, you know, it'll be a feisty affair if it's on. We know all about Geisley. You know, it'll be a real 6-pointer, and you know, with ex-players playing for both sides on both teams, you know, I'm sure it's going to be a really tight game, but you know, it's one that we want to win. We'll be going out to try and win, and you know, if we start like we did against Stafford, then you know, we won't go far wrong.
Yeah, and obviously since you've come in, quite a few new faces have come into the Matlock Town squad. How pleased have you been with their introduction? So looking at players like Soldini, Tyrone Cadu and Carl Demmead. How impressed have you been with their starts to their stints with the Gladiators?
Well, I mean, Demi was 2 in 2, so you can't ask any more. We brought him in to score goals, and we know all about Demi, not just his goals, his work rate, his hold up play, his ability to bring other players into the game. Soldini with his dominant aerial presence, his kicking, and his experience talking to that back line. And I think that was critical in the keeping the clean sheet against Stafford. And like I say, we did ride our luck. On another day, if they score, they might go on to equalise or even win the game. But that's what you have to do. Away from them, you have to defend for your lives. And the whole of the back line, the whole of the team, the work and the effort that they put in, was more pleasing than the actual goals, because it showed me that when you're under the cosh, when you're in a real dogfight, that they've got the resilience and the character to get through it. So that was really, really pleasing. Young Tyrone Cadu, his energy and his legs in midfield, to come into a team he's never played in before, and with such a young lad, we've got Sol and Demi in for their experience, because we know it's critical, at this stage of the season. And it's nice to have that, mix of blend and youth, but his legs, his energy, his quality on the ball, his tenacity, I was absolutely delighted with him, and he's one for the future. He's certainly one who will be a real fan's favourite, and I'm expecting big things from him moving forwards.
Now, just on a slight tangent, I'm a big fan of the Championship Manager 0102 game, going back a long time. And I knew I'd heard of the name Soldini. I thought I'll just have a quick check. And Soldini is there. I think he's just a young 21-year-old goalkeeper at that point. And then I thought, actually, I'll just have a quick check and have a look if Martin Carruthers is on there. And you're listed as a forward. And
was it?
Yeah, you're playing for Scunthorpe United at that time. Yeah, so I didn't have a look at the personal info as to what wages they were claiming you were on or anything like that. But yeah,
yeah, that was an absolute classic. 0102. So yeah, I used to be on Champ Manager all the time, and what I used to do, I used to alter all the stats, and I'd get myself a Premier League move and give myself top money. So yeah. It never happened in real life, but at least I lived the dream on Champ Manager.
Great stuff. And just finally then, looking at Matlock's next game that we've touched on before, and as we touched on before as well, it should be a feisty one, should be very interesting. So Matlock at home against Guiseley. Obviously, it kind of speaks for itself. Guiseley's manager is the former Matlock manager, Paul Phillips, and a lot of the backroom staff was also previously at Matlock as well. So both teams will certainly know each other very well. What kind of game are you expecting? Because obviously Matlock just outside the playoffs, as are Guiseley, who are doing pretty well under Philo's start as well. What kind of game are you expecting at Causeway Lane?
It's going to be a tight, physical game, and I think it will be not many opportunities. If we start the game well, we want to put them on the back foot. We know all about their, Chippendale and Callum Murphy, who've been at the club, and Philo will get them well wound up for this game. So, I don't expect it to be a classic. I expect it to maybe won via a set piece, maybe by one goal. But it'd be important to not get beat. But my mindset will be, let's get after them early doors. Let's start on the front foot. We want to win this game. It is a real 6-pointer. And if you win that, you probably go 4 points clear of guys with a game in hand. So it's a huge game, one that both teams will want to win, because there's so much at stake with the history between both clubs.
Yeah, we will look on with interest to see what happens there. Should be a fascinating game. So all the best for Saturday's game at Causeway Lane, Martin, and I'm sure we'll speak to you again soon. And hopefully when we do, Matlock will be a bit further up that table and in the playoff places. Okay, thanks for your time, Martin.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, pal.